Welcome back. Want to look at this where we left off, and we've got some questions here. There were 4 questions. We did the first ones together, the first one together, and we came up with an integer, a rational number, and a real number. Let's take a look at that second question. Negative 5 7/8. What did you come up with? There's 2 answers here. As you noticed on the Google form that you had to fill out, it gave you 2 points letting you know that there are 2 that you have to respond to. And those 2 are rational and real numbers. Okay, let's take a look here at number 3. That's a 14. What is number 3 going to be? 14 is a natural number, whole number, integer, rational, and a real number. And then we've got 6 pi left, irrational, but it's a real number. Okay, so we're going to talk about the square roots, types of square roots. Make sure you have this title on your page, types of square roots. Now we have, what we're going to talk about is real numbers. So real square roots. And we're going to break that into 2 categories, irrationals and, of course, rationals. Now, here's some examples of an irrational square root. You've got right here, it's the square root of 2 is 1.414, roughly, not quite exact. So that is an irrational number. Square root of 3, we come up with the same thing. Let's look at the square root of 5. And then we've got the square root of 6, square root of 7, square root of 8. These are all irrational square roots. So some square roots are rational, some square roots are irrational. The rational ones, we have the square root of 0, the square root of 1, the square root of 4, the square root of 9. These are all rational numbers. Now, we talked in the last video about perfect squares are the only square roots that are rational. You've got 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. Get to know your perfect squares. That'll save you a whole lot of time in the future. Now notice that the perfect square 0 matches up here. And then we've got the square root of 1 right here, the square root of 4 right there, and the square root of 9 right there. Look at that. Does that give you an idea of how to find your perfect squares? The perfect squares are rational numbers. Now we're going to go to the next slide. Now look at the information here. That's what we were just writing on the last page. And we're going to talk about a little bit more imaginary numbers. So types of square roots that are imaginary. The square root of any negative number will be an imaginary number. So make sure you write this in your notebook. This is something good to know, and write that down in your notebook. Put a little square around it like I did here. And I'm going to give you some examples. The square root of negative 1, the square root of negative 7, square root of negative 16, and the square root of negative 25. These are all negative square roots, and they are imaginary numbers. Okay, so take a look here. We've got some more numbers here. We did this on the last video, and so now we're going to do it on this video. You've got a 0 here in the first one, and I'll do the first one with you. And we're looking to see, is that a real number, a rational number, irrational, integer, whole number, or natural number? So take a look at that. What is that 0? We know 0 is a whole number. It's not a counting number, but it falls in the integer category. It is rational and it is real. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this and answer the rest of the questions. This will be on your agenda for the next block. Good luck and take care. I will see you then.